Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Today I want to talk about my Season 4 starter class. As many of you know, I have done this poll here on my YouTube channel, and looks like a lot of you are interested in Necromancer. Then there is still a lot of Barbarians, then there is some more Sorcs, some Druids and some Rogues. But I also think the Barbarian one might be a bit rigged in favor of Barb, because as you guys know, I do a lot of Barb content and there is many fellow spin to win and smash enjoyers right here. So I've been giving it a lot of thought, and in the end it was really between the Necromancer and the Barb. I briefly considered the Rogue as well, just to go against the flow. And I've basically decided to play the Barbarian, of course. Frosty LaRue made us a great song, and in general, I would not abandon the Barbarian class. I think it's still one of the best classes at the moment, and I think Blizzard is actually in some way sharing that sentiment. They using kind of Barbarian as the benchmark to kind of buff up the other builds to the Barb level. And the first class in line here is the Necromancer, with its Book of the Dead and in particular the minion builds being extremely strong. And that's also why I think so many people are gonna be rocking the Necromancer. But there are some pretty underrated builds on the Barb, such as the Bash Barbarian that we're gonna talk about here in a minute. We also have a video footage for this Bash Barb and the planners in the description. So my season journey will most likely start out as a Barbarian, and we're gonna be playing in a group. So for leveling, the Helltide leveling is pretty much the meta. You can do Helltide right away from World Tier 2, and I think it's an amazing, cool, fun system. And we have here the Upheaval leveling Barbarian, so you're basically just using Upheaval and your Lunging Strike to deal insane amounts of damage, and you have good AoE. There is also an alternative that you can use for the Double Swing, so you can just start playing Double Swing right away. I prefer Upheaval because it has a lot better AoE coverage, but Double Swing works as well. And then after that, you want to transition into the Dust Devil Double Swing. This is confirmed to be the starter set. We have literally seen it in the footage, like he was casting Double Swing and it was spawning Twisters. So there's definitely going to be this aspect, the Windlasher, in your season journey. Now, we don't have any information when exactly we are going to get this, but I would guess around level 50. So I kind of, use this Upheaval planner to be like level 1 to about World Tier 3. And then you're basically transitioning into this Double Swing Dust Devil Barb. And this one is going to be insanely strong. I'm going to make a separate, very detailed leveling guide that I'm going to be publishing tomorrow, about 12 hours before the season starts. That's going to go into all the details and all the nitty-gritty there. But for this video, I want to keep it very baseline. So we're starting with Upheaval, then I'm transitioning into Double Swing. And again, you don't need to do the Upheaval, you can just start with Double Swing right away. There's 2 planners here for both of this. And then we're rocking the now a bit nerfed, or quite heavily nerfed, Dust Devils, but I think they are still very strong. I have a couple of videos out here already where you can see the small Dust Devils that I've been playing on the PTR server as well. Still hitting for insane amounts of damage, even though the size has been capped and a bunch of other nerfs have basically been happening to the build. And then probably I'm going to be playing Double Swing Dust Devil for quite some time. Maybe I transition early, but there is another super endgame build. You can take this all the way into the endgame, but what I want to transition into at some point is the Bash Barbarian. So this depends a bit on the final tempering one. You can see here, Bash cleaves for 100% damage. It depends a bit if this one has been buffed, nerfed, or anything in between. We don't really know the full and final patch notes because Blizzard is not sharing them. So we have no idea if this is actually going to be true, but there is some hope 1 hour before the season starts here. So that's going to be at 6 p.m. CEST tomorrow. So we can pre-download the patch, and usually what we have been had on the PTR is all the tempering manuals. Even if you don't find them, they're gonna be in the collections menu in-game. So you can just download the patch before the season starts, you go open the collection menu, and you can look at all your tempering aspects, hopefully, without finding them, right? And you can do this about an hour before the season starts. So this is what I plan on doing, and I hope I can update you very soon if this Bash Barb is still as viable as it is. But This build, I think, is extremely underrated. You also don't need any Uber uniques here to begin with. There's only one unique, the Pain Goggers. You can use it, but it's not the craziest one for this build. So there's like very good multipliers here for all your generators. You have the Moonrise aspect, we have the Rapid aspect, we have the adaptability that you can now put on the Amulet. I think this build is insane, and to my theory craft, I put it in A tier because I wasn't like really sure with the Bash Cleaves, but if the Bash Cleave is unchanged or maybe even buffed, I mean, it could also go the other way, right? Because not many people were playing this, and again, I'm saying it's a very underrated build. It might even have some potential to rise up in this tier list, especially for very, very high pit runs, because this build not only has insane survivability, it also has very crazy recovery and very good DPS. The only problem is it does only do its damage in a very small AoE, but I'm very confident here. And yeah, also I think just double swing can also be played all the way until the end game. Like if the bash is not, if the bash is nerfed heavily, we can still play double swing Dust Devil like all the way into the end game. It also looks to be, from rough estimation, still a very decent pit pusher. And in general, if I'm looking at the entire class list again, so obviously the Necromancer and the Minion are gonna be pretty strong, but there are some content creators and just some people in the community in general out there that make it sound like the Golem is just gonna, like walk up to the monster and just one-shot everything for 1 billion damage. That is not how it's gonna be. So first of all, there's been a very slight nerf to the Minion Necromancer. Its ranks have been adjusted from 28 to now most likely 8. So that's gonna cut the damage around divided by 2. And there is also potentially another shadow nerf coming to the cult leader aspect. So let me just open this here real quick. This was an aspect that was allegedly, and again I didn't play Necromancer, it was uncapped on the PTR. But in reality actually has a cap. So we're gonna check the Golem Necromancer you have seen. I've shown you videos hitting for 6 trillion and even more. And there is this, let me see here really quick, it's called, not Flesh Eater here, Cult Leader. So apparently this one was uncapped on the PTR. You see now it caps at 100% bonus. Apparently some people on the PTR have reported that this was actually going over the cap. This might be a potential other like slight DPS nerf. Don't get me wrong, it's still one of the strongest builds. It's also extremely easy to play, but you're not just gonna, walk up to the enemy and it's gonna one-shot the enemy. There is a lot of rotation, a lot of work that also goes into this on the high level. Like, you can still expect to do very well with this, like even if you're a more casual player that just wants to play like a very chill build, it still definitely works, it's still very strong. But in particular, if you want to hit for billions of damage, you gotta have to put in quite a bit of effort. You need good gear, you need to know the rotation, and you need to perform it well. So you need to have like all your buffs, you need to curse the enemy, you need to have your corpse tendrils up, you need to have your blight up, you need to have your shadow blight stacked to 10 for the blighted aspect, you need to have your army of the dead up, you need to have all your minions up, and then you need to press the golem at the right moment to then deal these billions of damage. So it's very high ceiling DPS, but for a lot of people that don't really, look into the build that deep, it's not gonna hit for billions. But of course, it's still one of the strongest builds. The tier list still holds strong here. But I'm just saying it might be a little overhyped. Like looking this poll here, like there's literally half of the people playing Necromancer. And again, I really want the Necromancer to be strong, and I am definitely gonna also make a Necromancer. So my starter class is Barb. I'm gonna be rocking the Barb. I'm gonna try to push pit like as high as I can before I go to sleep. I plan to actually do a 30-hour stream here tomorrow. So check out the Twitch and maybe see the journey here. We're gonna be rocking the Barb. I think it's gonna be extremely powerful. And then after a couple days, I definitely plan on rolling to the Necromancer, because not only does it have strong minion builds, there's also some pretty cool shadow builds. There's also a Bone Spirit build with Overpower that I'm really looking forward to try. And you can expect me to make a lot of Necromancer content as well. So I will start doing Barb content and playing Barbarian. So I'll be very focused on that. But then probably after like 5, 6, 7, I don't know yet, days, I'm gonna be rolling to a Necromancer. And I definitely plan on making this a minion, golem, Necromancer boss killer. But again, just a fair warning, you know, Necromancer is not this like complete brain-dead class that some people say it's just like easy mode with Necromancer. It's definitely going to be easier and a bit less effort than in other classes, but on the high end, you still need to know your rotation, you need to know your mechanics. But yeah, I'm very hyped for the Barbarian. I really hope they, for some reason, like change the bash barb to be not viable, because we finally have a viable generator. And I'm actually still hyped to play the Dust Devil. I think it's going to be an extremely strong leveling build, and probably one of the fastest builds to level 100 yet. We're going to be trying to rock in our group. I have the rough benchmarks here. I'm hoping to actually reach level 100 in about 10 or maybe even sub 10 hours. And then I plan on doing Tormented Uber bosses. Like we want to do the new Andariel boss and probably Tormented Uber Duriel. So this is all on my first day of streaming. And then try to push the pit solo as high as we can and see how high we get. I'm expecting like somewhere in the 120, 130 range is where we're going to cap and before we go to sleep. And then we're going to play a couple more days of Barb and then also roll to the Necromancer. I'm super excited, guys. Season starts tomorrow. D4 login, tell your friends. It's going to be amazing. We have new endgame. Finally, really challenging endgame. We have a complete new itemization, crafting system. And there are many, many cool and viable builds in this game. I hope you're having a great start. Good luck to all of you, and I will see you there. Take care, my friends. GG. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.